What is up, everybody? This is your boy, Bread Like a King. Made is Kelvin Cayley. And ta da! We are back on Wrestling with My Thoughts. Now, this is a little bit different. If you are in the actual Facebook group, this is something that we are going to be doing. This is just a taste of what's going to happen. So I'm going to start doing these, or try to start doing these on the weekly. And that way it would be my thoughts on whatever is going on in the wrestling world. This would just be from me to you. I will put this on the Patreon as well. So um, go to our Patreon. I'll be putting that out there, the link out there. So but anyway, first things first, man. Shout out to I just already messed up. See, that's part of the plan. Shout out to our sponsors, Get the Plugs, Audio Swim, and Premier Element. Listen, we had a trip to Dayton and it was amazing. So one of the things that came out of that trip was, listen, I know the Dialogue podcast is great. It's awesome. You got a lot of stuff done. And even before I was going to Dayton to do these things, I actually was flirting with the idea of bringing back wrestling with my thought. So here we are. You know what I mean? Shout out to the homie Mac, aka your boy. We back, baby. Yes, that is right. We are back, man. We are back live in effect. So again, shout out to our sponsors. Get the Plugs, Audio Swim, and Premier Elements. I think I have some plugs on me still. Look, these things came in clutch, bro. Like for real, for real. So there they are. Get the plug. Go to gettheplug.com. Enter in code INT15 for a 15% discount on the premium package. That's a great ass deal. So if you haven't been watching us, we've mostly been going on the Patreon. We've been promoting the hell out of that. So that filling season, the DFPN season has just ended. That thing at the bottom that's scrolling, go to that www.patreon.com/that film podcast, and you will be able to get all of our podcasts because we haven't really stopped working. We're in upgrade mode, but we will be operating mainly on the Patreon. So go subscribe today for as little as $5, and you might get some good stuff out of it. I'm just saying, you'll get some good stuff out of it. But I digress. Welcome back to Wrestling with Our Thoughts, or Wrestling with My Thoughts. This is your host, Black Mac. Bread Like a King, made us Kelvin Cayley is how they pronounce it. Now, AEW versus NXT. If you have been paying attention, AEW just hit its year mark today. Today is the year mark that they've been in effect. Hold on one second. Sometimes I forget, like in the middle of this, I am a family man. So my apologies. But but AEW versus NXT, we had some things that they just hit their 1 year mark. They've been phenomenal to me over this whole year, and just putting together solid cards. There have been a few hits and misses, and one of their main competitors was the WWE model NXT. And listen, for all intents and purposes, they destroyed NXT in the ratings over this past year. NXT out of the 52 weeks that they ran, NXT won, I think, 3 weeks that of the ratings, and maybe four. I'll be generous. I'll give them four. They've won maybe 4 weeks out of that. That is to say that now that is to say that AEW to the audience is the better show. You have more loyal listeners on AEW. They are loyal viewers on AEW. They did some excellent promoting with putting the NBA in front of it, and that if you look on TNT, they branded AEW as a backbone to its network and its viewership. So that is to show you that AEW has gained the trust of TNT, whereas NXT, they've got a fan base. It's just not as much as uh, as AEW. Now, over this past year, some of the things that been coming out of the AEW NXT, what they call the Wednesday Night War, is should they switch? And I believe that they should. They definitely should switch, because you look at the off situations when AEW was not being viewed on a Wednesday versus NXT, the viewership for NXT was higher. When you had the NBA playoffs uh, start, NXT's viewership was higher because more people were then able to tune into the NXT brand and enjoy that brand, because the wrestling isn't bad on that brand. It really isn't. It's a decent wrestling show. Out of the three WWE shows that premiere weekly on episodes, it is the best wrestling show that you're going to watch. Now, what should happen, and I don't think this will happen, is one of the shows has to move. They have to move nights, because it is clear that the wrestling fans love both shows. It's a split audience. When AEW a couple of weeks ago, they, because of the NBA playoffs, they switched nights. They were able to garner over 1 million viewers. Roughly, they're around the 800,000 with NXT and AEW on the same nights. But it was clear that the audience was split, and that is why. Will that happen? Will one of the shows continue to stay there or move? Is remain to be seen, because Vince McMahon is a petty ass man. Now, he will stop them from getting their 1 million views, because it competes directly with SmackDown and Raw. So that is one reason that you may end up seeing NXT and AEW still on the same nights. I really would like them to go to different nights, because both shows are phenomenal and I hate choosing. But it is what it is. Now, for the WWE model, SmackDown versus Raw, SmackDown right now is clearly the better show. It is clearly the better show. They have a lot more storylines, a lot more interesting storylines. Let me put it that way. The time is less, and the thing that works for AEW and NXT is that they're both 2 hours long. Raw is not comfortable watching that shit for 3 hours. It's just not. You find yourself finding like little things to nitpick, and you hate doing that with wrestling shows, man. It really is. They're finicky with the storylines. The storylines end too fast, and you never know what the hell's going on, and it's just too much to follow. So Raw needs to go to 2 hours. It really does. Raw needs to go to 2 hours a week, and pick a storyline, draw it out. Now, their latest gaffe was something that started out really good. Retribution. Retribution started out as a really good angle, because they were basically, if you have been paying attention to the climate, it was pretty much like the Antifa movement within WWE. Vince McMahon likes to mimic modern society from time to time. when he thinks that it was going to garner conversation or controversy. So he made the retribution gimmick. Great. It started out as a great idea. Then then he started doing the little let's do this type of thing. Okay, they don't work for the company. Well, to the wrestling fan, like, we're not retarded, man. We know they work for the company. Now, if you brought that angle out, it would have been great if you would have said, they don't work for the company. These are wrestlers you haven't seen before. And even if it could have been, you don't expose them. And then they showed them. And then it just fell flat. It had a very real feel to it in the beginning, and then it just flattened out. And stuff like that happens on Raw. Whereas SmackDown, it's a little more intriguing. You have good storylines, and there's something to pay attention to, which brings me to my next point. Heel Roman Reigns. Thank you, WWE, for bringing this guy out. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you. We needed him for a long time, for a very long time. We needed this guy. Now that he's here, it's awesome. It's kind of like what we wanted with John Cena. We wanted a heel John Cena. We didn't want this hustle, loyalty, respect shit shoved down our throats. I get it. It's for the kids. Whatever. This is what we want. We want a bad guy. I know wrestling fans are petty sometimes. Like, we want these things, but this is what we wanted. Heel Roman Reigns works, and for the people that don't believe that he works, I highly encourage you to watch the past few weeks of SmackDown. It's just been amazing. Him and Jey Uso, and kudos to Jey Uso because it takes two to tango. You rocked this angle. You really did rock this angle. So kudos to you guys, man. And yes, for Mac, aka your boy, I'm not saying SmackDown has the better roster, because SmackDown, it's pretty even in terms of talent, but what they're doing on SmackDown is head and shoulders above what they're doing on Raw. It really is. It really is. And the numbers are reflecting that. So, but again, I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. These are topics that I'm going to cover for my final thoughts. Man, I'm glad to be back talking wrestling. It's been amazing doing the dialogue podcast and getting that done, and speaking to the issues that we have in this country. Now, going forward, that still will happen. I will be having shows dedicated to these types of topics, but I miss my wrestling, man. I really want to talk my wrestling. So that's what you're going to be getting. And this presentation that you're seeing, that's going to get better too. So to follow, go to our Teespring at teespring.com/store/datfeelingpodcast and get yourself some DFPN gear. Don't forget to join our Patreon, which is scrolling down at the bottom. Join that. Hit us up. Let's work together. You make us better. You make me better. And you might get a little money for it. All right. This is your boy, Bread Like a King. Made is Kelvin Cayley. This is Wrestling With My Thoughts podcast. This is DFPN. Thank you guys. Out.